Hello, welcome to Planet Phoenix. Today we are going to resurrect some old junk and make a really cool sign, hopefully. So it all starts here on the CNC to make out some patterns. I don't have a plasma cutter, or a CNC plasma cutter I should say. I just have a cheapy handheld plasma cutter. But I saw online on YouTube, of course, where this guy made these patterns out of wood and then traced it out with his plasma cutter, and I thought, well, maybe that's the way to attempt to make this thing work. Because I really didn't want to freehand it. I don't like it. Typically when I see other people freehand plasma cutting, I don't think it looks that great. I want my lines a little straighter and more perfect. Now this didn't work out perfect, but it worked out pretty darn good, really. It was flawed in just the right ways, in my opinion. I debated about it when I first cut them out, but all the little nicks and bruises, if you will, on the metal, I thought it kind of looked like it was on fire, which you'll see later is the way it's supposed to look. And just cleaning things up here so it makes it nice and shiny. And you'll see here, it's not perfect by any means, a little bit raggedy, but pretty good cuts, I'd say, for freehanding it. And I'm no expert at the plasma cutter by any means. I love playing with it, but I just don't have enough experience with it to make it perfect. But I thought it kind of just had the right amount of screw up in it, if you will, just to kind of make it look like it was an old burnt piece of metal. And the Phoenix here, you can see that the metal was very rusty. It's just a hunk of metal that was laying out somewhere and somebody was going to throw it away, and I thought, well, geez, why would you do that? Especially the way the prices of steel is. So I cleaned it up there, and it's pitted just the right amount, I thought, for this sign. Now here I was forced to do a little freehand work. It was just too much trouble to try to make a pattern to cut those out. But at this point I'd done enough of it where it actually worked out pretty well. Found a little way to guide it with my left hand there, and it just seemed to work out just fine, actually. So now I got to find a way to attach this to the sign, and I thought making these little standoffs would do the trick, and then I'd just drill a little hole into the wood, slide that into the wood, and there you have it. It was a nice tight fit when it went in there, so I didn't even really have to worry about putting epoxy or something like that in there. It worked out pretty well, as you'll see later. This Ipe wood is from a deck that got torn out, and well, I'm repurposing it, and that's what we do here on this channel. Thought it would make a very good backer. I'm a wood and metal guy. I love the looks with wood and metal, so whenever I get the opportunity to put them together, I do. So I've heard that Ipe is a fireproof product that has the same ratings as concrete and steel, which is going to be important for this build. And I guess I want to know for sure. So here's my little experiment. Stinks. Pretty interesting though. So burn it up real good. Create a little bit of a flaking. Peeled some layers, but I know I've seen some other videos online or on YouTube where they tested the same thing and kind of the same result. Just doesn't really burn. So that's a good thing for this project. So I had to show this little experiment. I thought I'd try to rough up some of this Ipe wood just to, I don't know, see what it would do to give it more of a rustic look. So at first I sanded it with 80 grit, sort of took some of the stain off from it. And I thought I'd take this bad boy, and that's certainly going to do some damage. I thought it was going to be overkill, but check this out. Now this is something I use on steel often, and I would think it would destroy the wood, but it pretty much did nothing. A few scratches, just minute scratches. In true Planet Phoenix form, we are taking an old junk piece of bed frame that has been laying around my shop too for a very long time. I just thought eventually maybe I'd use the steel for something. It's hard to throw away metal, I think, because you can just use it for almost anything. So we saved it from the scrapyard and made a bed frame out of it. Now this Scotch-Brite pad right here, this is a really slick little item for just taking paint off. I sort of use it almost to polish things too, because if you take your grinder out there and you make real deep scratches, sometimes that just kind of helps give it a little more of a polished look, in my opinion. You know, I really enjoy welding, but I sort of have a hard time seeing the weld. So that's why I have this light that you see me adjusting. I don't know why, but it helps. I'm sure I have dirty lenses and all of that good stuff too. I probably need to swap those lenses out. Would be very helpful for me, but you know how it goes. You get in the project and you just don't want to take the time. You want to keep things moving, and I found sticking this light on the situation seems to help me out quite a bit. So there we go. We just keep welding. This I found was the trickiest thing of the whole build, because I didn't want you to be able to see a gas line or a gas pipe or anything like that. I think it would defeat the purpose of what I'm trying to do. So I came up with this solution, rectangle pipe, 1 inch by 2 inch, and I figure I will somehow channel gas into that tube and drill some holes strategically and see how that worked out. And again, I'm just making the little standoffs so I can drill little holes into the wood so it'll slide right onto the wood, because I knew, especially with this, I have to take it on and off. Well, you'll see, just to hook it all up to the gas and figure out how I'm going to do that. So this worked out really well, actually. And once I had the whole layout, I realized, boy, just it needs something extra on that sign. It just seemed a little vacant, empty in the sign, so I came up with these little corner pieces here. Again, just using this old metal. I kind of liked how it cleaned up, just pitted it just enough to make it look really cool in my mind. Here's that urethane sealant that I've used in other videos. This stuff, I use it all the time, really, for a lot of different projects. It kind of stays a little bit rubbery, yet it sticks to everything very well. And instead of throwing fasteners and different things in this, which I really didn't want to do, so I used that urethane, and everything pulled everything together really well again. So now it's time to figure out, how am I going to get gas into this chamber? I'd originally thought I was going to tap that pipe into the chamber, but I didn't have the right tap, so we decided to just weld it. Now here I'm just trying to check for gas leaks and make somewhat of a tight seal that I can put my air nozzle in there and put a little compression to it, throw some soapy water on it and see if I get any bubbles, which I did. So I did have to throw a few more welds on the corner until I saw the bubbles stop. And I'm not gonna lie, this build had me a little nervous. I've never really messed with gas before, and I'm sure I shouldn't, but, well, you know. So here I'm just drilling some holes. So I'm trying to strategically place these holes so the flames come up at just the right spot on the sign to, again, try to make it similar to how my intro is on my videos. I think it came out nicely, actually. You'll see here shortly. At this point, we're almost nearing the end. We just got to connect the gas and give it a test. I'm putting an air mixing valve on there right now, and that pipe's just long enough to get through the wall, because I didn't want you to be able to see the gas line, because, well, that's not cool. So we had to go all out. Yes, I had to drill a hole through the wall, but what a small price to pay for something badass. You can tell when I lit that, that actually startled me a little bit, and I was prepared for it, and it still startled me. But come on, check that out. And for a final reveal, everything's in place. Here you have it.